Hey guys, this is Derek Duplessis, host of Purpose Rockstar. It's a podcast where we interview people who found purpose in their career in all kinds of fields. This interview is with Linda Mornell, founder of Summer Search. It's an awesome program I know a lot about because I was in it myself in 1997. And it really helps folks from low income backgrounds dramatically change the trajectory for their lives. And we talk about how she started this organization in middle age, right around 45. And now, 25 years later, it's an awesome organization with 7 sites across the country. It's really a touching story. It got a little personal. So I think you'll enjoy this one.
Well, that's a fantastic segue. Not that I'm not getting verklempt just hearing the story, but talk about sort of building the organization up and then making the decision to let go. But before you even talk about that, just take 30 seconds or a minute to let everyone know, let all the Purpose Rock Stars out there know what age you were when you sort of went full tilt with Summer Search, and how did that affect how you saw the organization moving forward?
I was probably in my mid-40s. I was in my mid-40s. My last child, I had 3 children, was on their way to college that year. I still had a private practice, and this was 1989, 1990 when I actually got my 501. So I would say within a year, it was I gradually let go of my private practice. I didn't take new people on. But within a year or two, it was the sole focus of my life. It sort of took over everything. I was incredibly passionate about it. It was very hard on my husband. He was 8 years older than I was, and didn't expect me to disappear at that point in our marriage. We were married for 45 years. And he eventually developed Alzheimer's disease and was sick for about 12 years and died 2 years ago. So one of the regrets I have is that before he got sick, those 5 or 6 years after I started Summer Search, was that I didn't put as much time into the marriage as I should have. But I had no idea he was going to get sick and be so ill for so long.
Thanks so much for sharing that. If you can go into a little bit sort of building up the organization and talk about some of the challenges with that, and then actually making the decision to actually let go and bring in a new CEO and sort of taper back your role.
Well, it was probably 2000. Jay called me. He had successfully replicated the program in Boston. We had another grant and opened another Summer Search program in the North Bay and in Seattle. He called me and said he wanted to make Summer Search a national program. And I thought, okay, what am I going to say? And Jay was, if anyone was a person to do it, it was Jay. So I said, of course, I supported him, and I thought he was the right person. So we had a retreat a week later, and Catherine, who was working with me in the Summer Search office, said, well, if Jay was going to take the program national, she wanted to be ED of the Summer Search office. And I thought, well, that's what I am, ED of the Summer Search office in San Francisco. And so by immediately supporting a broader vision, it had a ripple effect, and it affected everybody. But at the same time, it also felt like the house we had lived in, the roof had just risen or gotten much higher. So that was the process of me allowing growth, supporting growth, but at the same time evolving into a more peripheral role. Jay built up the organization, and actually I'm not that interested in creating an organization, creating bureaucracies and the things that you have to do as if a program becomes so much larger and has a national focus. So I would say the last 6-7 years that I was deeply involved, I spent training staff. That was my passion, was training young people how to mentor the Summer Search students in the ways that we do, which are pretty unique and pretty different from other programs.
Just talk about that for 60 seconds. What's so unique about the training staff?
Because I was a psychiatric nurse and had come from a private practice, I have had a psychological bent. So the mentoring is designed to help students understand themselves in a deeper way, understand their histories in a deeper way, understand their tendencies, which are often somewhat self-destructive. They come from self-destructive backgrounds, from parents that have dealt with the crushing challenges of poverty. So learning to look inward as they pull back or as they self-sabotage rather than blame, I think is a big aspect of our mentoring, and one of the reasons why our students become so successful and able to move on rather than repeat patterns that they grew up with.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for letting all the Purpose Rockstars know what makes some of the what
as
makes
a student, Derek,
great.
as a student,
Yeah.
what was your take on what I just said about the mentoring?
Look at you turning the thing back on me. I think you're right on. Certainly, it's really interesting for me personally because I have sort of decided to pay it forward and start my own organization, Duplessis Foundation, where we mentor 18 to 24-year-old artists and entrepreneurs. And it's a lot of the same things in terms of self-destructive behaviors and guys not really having the support systems at home to really help them in terms of not only in their entrepreneurial endeavor, but just to be a functional person and move forward. And I'm like, wow, this is like everything's coming full circle. And I always think about myself in my own development, thinking about what are the things that I might do consciously or subconsciously to sabotage, and what can I do to better myself so I can better serve these young people. So it's really interesting to see everything come full circle, and really it makes me appreciate a lot more what Summer Search is able to do, not in terms of getting people to college, because there's a lot of people and a lot of programs that do that well and successfully, maybe even better. But I think the thing, yes, I always keep it real, Linda. Always keep it real.
Okay.
But the thing that's more important to me and more impactful to me is that Summer Search really allows young people from low-income backgrounds to meet their true potential. And so whether that means that they're the first, father that's going to be in their children's lives after generations of fathers skipping out, or being able to have a functional family. I'm big on family. Or, they can have financial success. They can sort of be on a path where they can really be part of their community. They can change their community. They can be leaders in their community. That is because of their psychology, really changing their mindset. And I think that's what Summer Search does really, really well, and a lot of people take for granted. So just as an example, the fact that you as a parent thought it was important for your children to have these experiences for their development, that's not something that all parents are going to be thinking about, and particularly folks from low-income backgrounds. So just being exposed to that and having, a couple thousand folks as alums, we can help spread that ethic and spread that across the country and across the world. So that's the big impact that I see in changing the mindset and the psychology of a lot of these young people from low-income backgrounds. And that's sort of the magic, if you will. So that's how I see it. It's a very long response to your question, but hopefully that was satisfactory.
You know, there's more to that interview. Yeah, more. And you can find all of it at purposerockstar.com. Link is right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. So it's really, really awesome that you can go to purposerockstar.com. If you're one of those on-the-go Apple people, you can check it out on iTunes. There's the link. And for my non-Apple people, I'm going to make sure there's a link on Stitcher somewhere next to me. So you got iTunes, Stitcher, and purposerockstar.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're on Twitter and Facebook, and somehow we'll be on LinkedIn. I don't know. But at least we'll be on Twitter and Facebook. And one final favor. Pursue your purpose. It needs you.
And when you love someone to that level and where you're doing everything you can to open every door possible for them, you can also get really, really angry and upset when they don't walk through it.